I find music a useful distraction. A focus tool. Keeps the inner voice from wandering. This is what it takes. My process is purely logistical. If I'm effective, it's because of one simple fact. I don't give a
I'm not a killer, Hank says when ordered to murder and disappear Otis Heiss in episode 5 of Night Country. Damn straight he isn't. He's a straight-up psycho. He makes Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs look like a cuddly toy bunny rabbit. Barely 15 minutes after showing a reluctance to kill a junkie no one would miss, he's willing to blast down police chiefs and possibly even his own son. What a head case. This is yet another example of more terrible, lazy-ass writing from the creators of True Detective Season 4. Surely there is no way back for this series or the True Detective franchise now. Episode 6 would have to be the greatest hour of TV of all time to put any shine on this steaming turd. Personally, I hope Hank gets the spin-off he blatantly deserves. He might still be alive after all, because in this True Detective universe anything can happen. As with most of this series, episode 5 is mainly filler. Hank does a feeble impression of Johnny Cash, then he tells his son about the time he saved his life one time when he fell into the ice. Both scenes are pathetic attempts to get us to like Hank so we feel sorry for him when he gets his head blown off. There is the continued subplot of Greta Thunberg Mark II. In this week's episode, Danvers' annoying stepdaughter is now at a protest. She says, "Fucking pigs, man," quite a bit, and then she gets whacked over the head with a police baton a couple of times and then brushes it off without a second thought. What a hero. Then she gets tossed into a police cell by a stepmum rather than sent to the hospital. I suppose if she wasn't in the cells, she wouldn't be handily available to receive Deliveroo from Pryor. Instead of thanking him, she calls him a selfish prick because he's been turfed out of his house by his controlling wife for doing his job. Then we get this whole contrived bit where we are told how Pryor and his wife actually fell in love for the first time, and how much she misses him. He hasn't actually gone anywhere. She's the one who's turfed him out. Again, more lazy writing, a transparent attempt by the writer to get us to bond with Pryor before he inevitably joins his dad in the hereafter during episode 6. Meanwhile, Danvers has joined Navarro and gone full rogue cop. She steals heroin from the police evidence locker and busts Otis Heiss from a mental hospital. Then she drives him to her house so he can get high in her Kazi. It's so ridiculously rushed and random. Then Hank turns up and goes full government assassin on us before getting his own head blown off. Poor Pryor is then left to clean up his dad's brains from the floor, while Danvers and Navarro set off to find the cave where Annie Kay was murdered, because that has to happen now. Why exactly? Just because, goddammit. Stop asking too many sensible questions. So we've got one episode left. One episode to tie up the entire series. What will happen? To be honest, I'm not sure I really care. It's all been pretty terrible so far. But as everyone else seems to be doing predictions, I might as well play along too. So these predictions are not based on anything specific. I haven't been studying the series in intricate detail because it's mainly been sending me to sleep. I've just gone for the most predictable and boring explanation I can come up with. My prediction actually hasn't changed since watching episode 1 and 2. So here goes. Annie Kay suspected the mine was responsible for the stillbirths happening in the town. As a midwife, she was desperate to prove this. She embarked on a relationship with Clark, not because she liked him, but because she wanted to get access to the cave or the proof she needed that the mine was up to no good. When she got access to the cave, she was murdered to cover up what she found. It's probably a load of nuclear waste or something that is somehow seeping into the town's water supply. In terms of who did the actual killing of Annie Kay, I suspect this was Lunt. This would explain why he had the symbol drawn on his head, and why the writer ridiculously kept him alive when in reality he would be deader than fried chicken that has already been digested twice. However, it's clear that all the scientists are evil and responsible for covering up the ghastly actions of the mine. This is why they were all killed, and why neither Danvers or Navarro have any interest in finding out what happened to them. The writer clearly doesn't think these people deserve any kind of justice, and that's why they have been forgotten for the large part in this series. I suspect Annie Kay had some accomplices in trying to expose the mine, and were also aware of her plan and what she was doing. These individuals are now seeking revenge for her murder. I suspect there will be a few of these people, which will include the 2 women from the crab factory, and also Rose, who is angry with the mine because she believes that Travis's death was caused by the dodgy water too. You remember Travis? He's the one who was doing the dodgy Kate Bush impressions in the first episode. This spells bad news for Pryor, as Danvers has sent him to her so that she can help him cover up his dad's death. Will he see something that makes him aware of her involvement? Will that seal his fate? I suspect Clark told Annie Kay's accomplices what happened to Annie Kay, and then he helped them kill the scientists. Probably by slipping them some sort of weaponized hallucinogenic compound, probably concocted by Pryor's wife's grandmother. Danvers and Navarro will find Clark at the cave, and he will fill them in on what happened. Baddies from the mine will show up to kill Danvers and Navarro. There will be a bit of a fight. Bad guys from the mine will all die horribly, possibly even questionably. Danvers will probably die saving Navarro. Then Navarro will cover up the murders of the scientists, and anyone in the town who did anything bad will get off scot-free because everything they did was for the greater good.
You should be ashamed. Calling yourself a community that cares.
Oh, but we do care, Nicholas.
It's all about the greater good.
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
I am probably well off with this prediction, but it's just a bit of fun. As I said, this is the worst possible ending I could think of, so if this is it, then I'll laugh myself to sleep for weeks.